Welcome back, Exiles. I have been busy progressing through the end game and testing all kinds of different angles for my Huntress bleed build. And now that clearing tier 15 maps has become a breeze, I am ready to share my build update with everyone. This ritualist bleed build focuses heavily on the melee ranged hybrid style of combat, dashing in and out with rake and disengage, using spear throw for big damage when we have frenzy charges, setting up massive amounts of blood loss on rare or unique enemies, and then executing them with blood hunt for some big dopamine. We have incredibly high evasion, permanent max rage stacks, and my favorite part, no spear field. Firstly, let's cover the most important things to know in order to get this build blasting. I will talk more about each of these topics throughout the video, but I want to list them out now as an overview. Your spear needs to have the highest amount of physical damage possible because bleed magnitude is based purely off of physical damage. This is why we use spear throw and not one of the elemental spear abilities. In order for spear throw to detonate itself and do some big damage, we need frenzy charges. We get frenzy charges from the Spirit Gem Combat Frenzy, which generates frenzy charges when we pin things. All of our abilities pin things because we are using the unique Bushwhack Lizard Scale boots, which makes all physical damage pin. The main defensive layers of this build are evasion and life leech. We can find modifiers for life leech on our spear, rings, and jewels. Eventually, you will use the Death Articulated Ornate Gauntlets unique, which let you permanently have max rage stacks. The downside of these gloves are that you lose 5% of your maximum life per second. So when gearing, you need to make sure you get enough life regeneration to equalize this downside. This is why life regeneration will appear on a few items in the gearing section. Alright, now let's talk about what kind of gear this build requires. We're playing a full evasion stacking character. I will show you screenshots of the gear I am using and list out the most important modifiers to look for on each piece. You don't need all of these modifiers, but these are the mods to look for, and I'll highlight the ones that are mandatory. Let's cover the 3 uniques we currently use in our setup first. The Bushwhack Lizard Scale boots, so that all our damage pins and gives us frenzy charges to make our spear throw explode. The Death Articulated Ornate Gauntlets, so we can sit at maximum rage permanently. And the Venopuncture Iron Ring. Everything it offers is great for a bleed build. Now, for your spear, increased physical damage, adds flat physical damage, life leech, a hybrid mod of physical damage and accuracy, plus melee skill levels, plus projectile skill levels. Look for these modifiers on the other 2 rings: max life, evasion, life leech, elemental resistances, flat physical damage, and attributes. For your belt, life, resistances, life regeneration, strength. For your amulet, life, evasion, resistances, spirit. I highly recommend getting spirit on your amulet instead of your body armor, since our ritualist ascendancy will increase the amount you get here by 25%. Life regeneration, plus to melee skills, plus to projectile skills, and attributes. Now, I'm still experimenting with the anointment, but for now, I'm using bestial skin, and it is excellent and very affordable. For your helmet, life, evasion, resistances, life regen, attributes. For the body armor, life, evasion, resistances, life regeneration, spirit, if you still need some, and attributes. And finally, on your buckler, life, evasion, and resistances. Alright, now let's move on to the skill gems and what I'm using to support them. Starting with spear throw. We use lacerate, so spear throw can bleed. Scatter shot, so we throw 3 spears instead of 1. This means we get 3 explosions when we have a frenzy charge, or 6 if all 3 spears fork. Heft for more maximum physical damage, and perpetual charge for frenzy charge value and more spear explosions. If you want to be sweaty, swap this out for retreat during boss fights. Next is rake. We use ancestral call so that every 6 seconds you get more damage and you'll hit additional targets. Then deep cuts for bigger bleed magnitude, brutality for more physical damage, and heavy swing for big physical damage. And the less attack speed doesn't matter for the skill. Now for disengage, we use ingenuity. This is mandatory for comfy rake and disengage spam. With ingenuity and max gem quality on disengage, you can just spam back and forth and it feels really good. And then we use concentrated effect for more damage. It's especially useful versus rares and bosses. And incision for guaranteed incision application versus rares and bosses. Now for blood hunt, we use execute since we only use this ability when the rare or the boss has huge blood loss bar, which is generally around the time they are in execute range below 35% max life. Then hourglass, because since we seldomly use this ability, a 10-second CD on it is completely worth it for a big damage increase. And finally, bloodlust. Our targets are always bleeding, and since this is the execute ability of our build, it doesn't need to apply bleed, so this is a pure damage increase. Next up is Bloodhound's Mark. We use single out, so this lets you break the armor of your marked target. This won't increase your bleed damage, but it will increase your hit damage. Then Rupture. When this ability stuns a boss that doesn't move, you will notice that the aggravated bleed will do some big damage. And Physical Mastery. Higher skill level equals more damage. This support gem will likely get moved to one of our main abilities later on. And now onto Herald of Blood. We use Deadly Herald for more damage, Hemocrystals, which helps Herald of Blood clear bigger packs, and Bone Shrapnel. Since we pin with everything we do, Herald of Blood will occasionally kill a pin target and create a big boom. And now Combat Frenzy. We use Profusion for more Frenzy Charge generation, which will equal more Spear Throw explosions. Cannibalism for huge life sustain when we're killing packs of monsters. And Vitality, which helps with life regeneration sustain for our unique gloves. And now for our last spirit gem, Wind Dancer. We use Magnified Effect. When you get hit, it causes a bigger explosion, which can bleed, pin, and knock back. We use Maim for added utility on the explosions, and Arm's Length for more utility in the form of a bigger knockback. Now let's talk about our passive tree. We take things that give us damage, bleed magnitude, rage, life leech, and evasion. We pick up 3 jewel sockets, and you will want to get 2 ruby jewels with these mods in order of importance: bleed magnitude, global physical damage, increased amount of life leeched, and life regeneration. The third jewel we use will be a unique jewel, a From Nothing diamond for Oasis. This allows you to allocate the passives in a small radius around Oasis so we don't have to path all the way to it. There's some nice ailment and evasion nodes there. Okay, now let's go through our passive tree. So we start off taking all the attack damage nodes, go into the hybrid damage nodes. Can we come down? Ignore this for now. I needed the dexterity, and also in the next few levels, I'm aiming to go for high alert right here. But yeah, I needed the dexterity for a gem. But yeah, we're going this way, but this is at the end. Don't worry about this. Okay, we keep going down. There's some great hybrid damage right here, and also chance to fork on your ranged attacks. This is really, really good. Keep coming down. Some damage nodes right here. Coming down. Some good evasion right here. This is 30%. Big evasion for just 2 points. And then this is our From Nothing diamond that allows us to allocate all these out here in the middle without having to connect it to our tree. Obviously, once you get the diamond, you'll put your points out here. Something to note, these 2 points right here, these evasion points, only get these once you can get both of them. Don't like get one of them and then wait to level and then get the other one. You need to put both of these in at the same time. Otherwise, they'll be kind of bad. So make sure you get both of those at the same time when you do get them. And then continuing on, coming down, there's some more attack damage right here. And then down here, wrap around. If you aren't using a buckler, you can get Dance with Death. But by the time you're in the end game, I recommend equipping a buckler. You'll lose a little bit of damage, but the defense you get from it is worth it. And there's also a really nice little evasion node right here for your buckler. Bucklers only give evasion, so 30% increase if you get a good one is quite a lot. It's a very good node for 1 point. Come around these great spear section right here for a bunch of spear damage. And then we'll take some magnitude of bleeding. Magnitude of bleeding you inflict against enemies affected by incision. This section right here is the same as this section up here. So you'll get 60% magnitude of bleeding against enemies affected by incision, which is basically all the time. Like you're going to have 40% chance of just all your attacks applying it. And then also, since we're using incision on disengage, pretty much you're always going to hit rares and bosses with disengage. So they'll always have incision. So you'll always have 60% increase of magnitude of bleeding against those targets. So this is really good. Make sure you grab both of those. But that's all you need in those trees. Don't get anything else. Okay, so then we'll talk about all this section here. So we'll come back up around, go down this way. So the incision we just talked about, grab those. Nice little attack damage section right here. Keep coming down. Now these are some life leech nodes we'll take. Obviously only get these once you have life leech online on your build, on like your weapon, your rings, and your jewels. But this is 40% increased evasion while leeching, which will pretty much, I mean, it's all the time. You're always going to be hitting stuff, so you're always going to be leeching, so you're always going to have 40% increased evasion. Keep coming down over here to this section. Nice little bleed section right here for bleed magnitude. And then we go down south. This is a nice little damage section for one-handed weapons and also a chance to inflict ailments. Spears are one-handed, so this is great. And then we'll keep coming down. There is a little bleed section right here, but I found that for 20% bleed magnitude, that's really the only thing that's good in this section. For 5 points, 20%, it's kind of not worth it. But it could, I mean, there's 20% bleed here to keep an eye out for if you have extra points. Maybe if you're leveling past where I'm at right now, that could be good. But I'm not taking it currently, so we keep coming down. This whole bleed section is really good right here. And then down and around, and this is the most important section for life leech. This one right here, fast metabolism. So life leech effects are not removed when unreserved life is filled. So life leech is a 1 second heal over time. And normally when your life hits max, the life leech will stop. So if you have this notable here, the heal over time will continue on you even at max HP. So this is really good. Sometimes you get stunned and your leech will keep healing you while you're stunned until you're not stunned anymore. So I highly recommend getting this once you have life leech gear. And then this another in this section right here. I mean, this notable is crazy. 30% increased amount of life leech and 40% increased physical damage. Definitely worth the 5% reduced max life. And then past that, we'll get another jewel socket right here. And then this is our section for rage. This increases our maximum rage by 14. And this is great once you get the unique gloves that let us sit at maximum rage permanently. Highly recommend getting this once you get those unique gloves. And that's the entire tree so far. We're level 85. And we'll be building on this a little bit in our future update videos, but this is where we're at right now. Hopefully it works out for you guys. And let's move on to the next section. Now, let's talk about our ascendancy. I am playing a ritualist, and it's been working well for me. As you can see, I haven't even done my third or fourth yet. The plan was to do that today, but I've been blasting getting this guide put together for you guys, so that's on the to do list. If you're playing a ritualist like me, then obviously we take the jewelry nodes first. The question is, what do we do with the last 4 points? Well, unless GGG changes Blood Boil to make it work while using Herald of Blood, that is just off the table. So that leaves us with two options: either take the life regen and the +1 charm, which I think would be very strong since we're already building life regeneration, and being able to wear a stun charm and a freeze charm would be awesome utility. Or take as the whispers demand and sacrifice your own blood for random monster modifiers. This could be good, but it needs to be tested still. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching my endgame ritualist bleed build guide. I hope this helps you guys get your characters blasting maps. Expect more updates on this build as I continue to develop it and start killing pinnacle boss fights. If you enjoyed this video or it helps you out in some way, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up and liked the video. And if you want to get notified when the next build update comes out, then make sure to subscribe. You can also watch me live on Twitch or here on YouTube every single day. Thanks again. Peace.